America is an idea. It's an idea whose foundation was laid in the Declaration of Independence and in the Constitution. It's an idea that is also encapsulated with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just 31 words. Those 31 words encapsulate the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and that America is an idea. Unfortunately, we're living at a time when several elected leaders, the mainstream media, and special interest groups have forgotten the meaning of those 31 words. They want us to forget that we are one America. They ignore that we are a republic with legal processes, and they think that liberty and justice should only apply to the groups or individuals they deem important. One nation under God. There are many that are trying to erase faith from our nation's fabric. Go no further than during COVID, when churches, mosques, and synagogues were not essential, when we needed them most. There were limits put on how many people could worship. In fact, many want to take the words "under God" out of the pledge. This is not the American idea. Indivisible. They have forgotten this too. Or should I say, they don't believe it. In fact, all they are trying to do is divide us. They have used COVID to divide us over masks and vaccines. They've been trying to divide us along racial lines with things like the 1619 Project and trying to push critical race theory in our schools. Even the NFL has gotten into the act, trying to tell us that there is another national anthem for people of a different race. This is not the American idea. With liberty and justice for all, they supported the agenda of Antifa and those that rioted and looted throughout the country. In fact, they protected them and helped bail perpetrators out of jail. State's attorneys across the nation, including Kim Foxx right here in Cook County, would not prosecute them. Also here in Illinois, our lawmakers, including 4 of Orland Park's representatives, voted for and passed HB 3653, which emboldens criminals, makes criminals out of police officers, eliminates cash bail, making catch and release the state norm, and prioritizes criminals over police officers and law-abiding citizens. And the republic for which it stands. These words are a reminder that we are not a pure democracy. Majority rule was a conundrum to our founders because majority rule was needed for our government to function, but it could oppress the minority as easily as a king or a dictator. That is why we are a republic. As James Madison once wrote, it is of great importance in a republic not only to guard the society against the oppression of its rulers, but to guard one part of the society against the injustice of the other part. However, we have a president and a governor that have been ruling by fiat. The president mandated vaccines on employees of businesses and on our military. This includes people that have had COVID, which we now know offers more immunity than the vaccine. He has ordered the military to court-martial and less than honorably discharge military members, including those who have previously had COVID, who refused to take the vaccine. However, migrants and refugees are not required to be vaccinated. Why? And I quote, "They do not need vaccination proof because they are not intending to stay here." You cannot make this up. Haitian migrants are just passing through. To where? Canada? To the Antarctica? The governor mandates vaccinations and masks. In schools, students must wear masks because, according to the governor, masks prevent the spread of COVID. However, if they are near someone who tests positive for COVID, they need to take a test to stay in school. Why do you need to take a test to stay if masks prevent the spread? Just a simple question. He mandated vaccinations for teachers, among others. According to the governor, teachers must be vaccinated to keep schools safe, even though the students they teach are not vaccinated. Huh? I don't get it. If those teachers don't want to vaccinate, they must go to a testing center. which is full of people who have symptoms of COVID awaiting to get tested, which more than likely exposes them to COVID, an exposure they will then bring back to school. In short, risking their health and advancing the spread. Brilliant thinking. Recently, I received a letter from the governor's office asking mayors to take in Afghan refugees. In this letter, it stated the refugees will be offered vaccinations. When asked why offered and not mandated, we were told these refugees have rights. So Afghan refugees have rights, but our citizens do not. It seems like we are living in an Orwell novel. Newspeak, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. A country where all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. This is not what our forefathers envisioned. They envisioned a nation of liberty and justice where every human being, regardless of race, color, creed, sex, or social standings, receives fair and equal treatment. A republic that was one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We must never forget that America is an idea that many brave Americans, some here tonight, have fought and died to protect. An idea that seems to have been forgotten by those in power and control. An idea that is encapsulated in these two sentences. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. This idea is fragile and must be protected. My favorite president since I have been alive, Ronald Reagan, said it best. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. My favorite president of all time, and the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, said this: America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. They were both right. And now, more than ever, it is up to us to make sure those words do not come to fruition. Thank you.